And welcome everybody, welcome back. This is Big Cheds coming to you live. I'm joined tonight by our good friend, our compadre, Big Chonis. How you doing, buddy?
Hey Cheds, good evening. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good, thank you. So how do you feel the market, where do you think the market's at right now? Just as a kind of a general, starting point, where are we?
That's kind of a tough question, isn't it?
Yeah, I give you the
past
tough
few
ones.
hours, because what we're seeing is just so much of this sideways price action, low volume price action. You know, there's been a couple head fakes here and there with a couple long wicks on the up and on the down. We are amazingly in this dead stick here. It's amazing. The last hour candle was so tight. And this hour candle, which is only 10 minutes old, is so tight right now. So, I mean, this is not going to last forever. A lot of these indicators that we keep watching are now kind of finding little support areas below where the current price is. You know, the longer you go sideways, the more those EMA supports and what have you are actually going to become supports and more of a stability underneath than overhead. So we've been seeing that, and now it feels like there's a move coming. It's pretty imminent. You know, I don't think it will be, I assume by tomorrow morning when I wake up, there'll be some kind of move maybe through the night or in the morning, granted, depending upon where you live in the world, as Bitcoin is global. But the way that everything is tightened up, the Bollingers especially, you know, what you have there on the 1 hour and you know, on the 4 hour, they're getting tight, which is denoting a move is coming. And, you know, we're having so much resistance in the 67, 68 area. You know, we've tried several times to break through it, 68, 16 or so, give or take a few dollars, depending upon which exchange you're on, has been a very strong resistance level. And we've kind of come in this slowly descending wedge as we kind of, you know, try and find some support and try and make another run at that resistance level. Because we're in such a low volume environment, it would not take a lot of money to move this market in either direction. Yeah,
that's a great point. Look right here. I mean, this wasn't that much money, and that shot it up, what is it, a couple hundred points?
Yeah.
So that's a great example of it. A couple things. It is almost, for me, it's almost like an ascending triangle, but it's not exact. I'm just going to pull it up here. I mean, it's not exact, right? Where you kind of have the flat top, the rising bottom. It's almost ascending triangle, but like all these signals are weak because the volume is weak, as you pointed out.
Yeah, it's a valid point. I mean, it definitely does have the characteristics of an ascending triangle. You basically have a solid top. You basically have a rising price action, you know, in that kind of pattern. And we're almost to that apex, if you will, of that kind of triangle. You know, it's hard to distinguish that. There's a lot of money on the sidelines here, you know, so a lot of it's been kind of, you know, because of the steady action here, it's basically very hard for, you know, a lot of money to be put in kind of either direction. You know, I've been watching the shorts and the longs, trying to get a sense of where the market thinks to be going. And because of this sideways action, a lot of stuff is basically kind of not being pumped one specific way, other than a couple specific alts, which we can definitely talk about later. But they're all kind of feel like it's waiting on Bitcoin. And we had seen it back in April when Bitcoin had a nice run. It had some, you know, consolidation, sideways action, and allowed a lot of these altcoins to move. So we're seeing it again in a similar pattern where Bitcoin is finding some stability, you could argue, in the 67 area. Because of that, you're allowing some altcoins to kind of pump and find some stability and some money flow. That's encouraging, but it's definitely a lot less than what we saw back in April.
Yeah, just real quick, I just want to just quickly, we'll do a Bitcoin, we'll move on. It's notable, you know, we were just looking at here on the 1 hour chart, and clearly the price has been rejected several times at this price level, this black line here. What is that? 60, like 68.70 or something like that. 68.74. So I went back in the daily chart, and I just kind of noticed right here, that was exact close back on February 6th. So obviously it's also an area of has some history in this area as well, and here, Big Chonis?
Yeah, I mean, and that's really been showing some strength, and now you see it's kind of acting as that resistance level now. And the volume currently is not showing up to really, try and say, all right, let's pump this more. The middle Bollinger, you clearly can see there, is acting as some strong resistance on the daily as well.
Yeah, excellent. So if you want to find my friend on Twitter, he is at Big Chonis. He does a really good job on Twitter. You can find me on Twitter. I am at Big Cheds. What do you say about Ethereum? Let's go 4 hour.
Sure.
Okay, so what do we think is going on there? Clearly, the Bollingers are pinching as well. We have the stochastics resetting. You have basically a period of a drawback here, a drawdown, and the bulls are basically going to try to decide where they try to draw, the line, try to draw a stand. They fail at the middle Bollinger, maybe lower Bollinger. You do have some history here. This is your support back here, so this could be support as well. And this is an important area, Big Chonis. If you notice, this was the resistance on this move off the bottom, this gorgeous candle. So this is the level, the breakout level, right? So once see what I'm saying? So this is an important level.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely corrected from that candle originally. So if we were able to then once again dip back into the body of that nice green candle, that would suggest a lot of bearish move potentially moving, forward. You're definitely, I agree that area, and right there where we kind of are, this, let's say 525, and I've noted in previous shows that Ether likes to move in 25s and 50s. So at bottom, literally at 450, now we're at 525. If we have a bull break, 550 will be the next level you want to test. If we have a bear break, then 500 will be a support level to watch. If I can just make one note of one thing here, right? The chart you have up currently, back on around like May 23rd to May 28th, kind of put in a similar pattern there. And I did a tweet about this a couple days ago, almost like a M top there, where you had a similar.
Right here.
Go
is it this M here? Is this M?
Go back to the 4 hour there.
This is that the M top you're talking about right there?
You just have it there on the 4 hour.
Okay,
yeah, the 4 hour shows it a little better.
Okay.
There.
Okay, so this is the peak, and then there was the M here. This is your M, around the 23rd. So I'll go ahead and pull it up here, just so everyone's like, "What are you talking about?"
Actually, no. It was the one on the May 23rd area there, not that one.
Right
yeah,
here.
right.
Yeah.
Nope. Keep going. Right there. Yeah, right there.
Okay.
So that little pattern there, where it looks very similar, where we had that kind of inverse Bart Simpson, if you will, in the middle there. See that? Yeah, right there. And then look at it. We just had it again. Very similar pattern. And you saw what happened after that. It's a it's not the same situation.
Here.
Yeah, but it just reminds me of the same kind of algorithm almost in play of like this little M top that basically gets rejected.
Difference. No, it's a difference though. See, right. So everything, you have to look at every signal in the context of the signal, right? So here, this M top is like maybe your first hope, except it's clearly a bearish continuation, bear pennant, or whatever, bear flag. This is actually after a continuation pattern. So this is a different scenario, right? So it's a potentially different context. I actually think, all things being equal, I think it's slightly favorable here, because look at this area of significance. Now this would be the third contact point on this lower trend line, and this is the level we established earlier right here because of this peak.
Yeah,
you have this reset. Everything looks pretty good right now. So
it does, and that's the point about that line there, where if we were to break it on the down, that would definitely signify that this bullish run has kind of hit some skids.
What do you think? Litecoin, and then we'll go straight into altcoins. Litecoin. This is Litecoin. BTC, let me just pull up Litecoin right there. Okay, 96.70. We're at 4 hour. What are your feelings?
But Litecoin, you done me wrong. No, listen, Litecoin, there's so much history with Litecoin, and a lot of people have their first entries in Litecoin above 100. So right now we're in these uncharted waters for a lot of the crypto people. There definitely is a lot of people that have a lot of history with crypto, with Litecoin, sub 100, and they're basically used to trading it in this area. I remember a lot of purchasing I did back in Thanksgiving in the 75 to 85 area. So we've been holding this mid 90s for a almost 2 weeks now, and that 89 touch and hold was kind of that first area of support that we were going to test because of its historic, history there of some price action. So that's kind of the first positive step, that we were able to establish a good support zone there. Granted, Litecoin will be doing whatever Bitcoin decides to do. If Bitcoin, can break bullish, we can definitely see Litecoin retest and probably break $100 again. But a bear break in Bitcoin, and you can clearly see it's putting in a bearish, what would you call that, a descending. I mean, it's a
pennant, but it's too long. But the problem is it's too long. It's longer than the flagpole, right? So this is just, and this is actually two patterns, because you actually have a bear pennant here that already broke. So this is your new flagpole. It can't be this long. So it's really just a triangle. It's just a consolidation, almost a symmetrical triangle. It's just a consolidation triangle, and it's clearly close to its pivot or its apex right here.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree that the length of the pennant is very long.
Right.
Almost negating long. I guess you could argue like maybe it's just a very extended pennant.
It's just a triangle. Look, it's a triangle at this point.
Yeah, it's a symmetric triangle.
But you have to give bears, maybe you give bears favor, but on the daily chart, I've been arguing, I think this is an area I wouldn't be surprised to see held in the broader sense.
Sure, and we've been here long enough in the past couple weeks where if mid-90s now, there's new money flow in that area. It definitely has to be set as like, okay, we're finding another support base here. If we were to break it though, the mid-90s are going to become a tremendous resistance area, especially on any kind of bounce, because we've basically shown that, heck, if we can't hold 90, which is basically held for a decent amount of time here, then anything is possible farther down. And there's history lower. We definitely don't want to get there yet, because each level of support basically denotes a happening in Bitcoin. So Bitcoin has clearly shown that it is the leader, and Litecoin has followed it slightly bearishly lockstep. And I'm still not seeing any bullish diversion where if Bitcoin were to tumble slightly or even rise slightly, you're not seeing Litecoin outpace it in any way yet.
So I think that's all true. I also think you for now have a clearly defined trend line, both upper and lower, to kind of to look for a signal on.
Okay.
Let's do the altcoins. The first request from Chill Spine in the chat room for SC.
Yeah, CA coin. If I can just mention, Cheds, it's great to do these shows with you. We're old friends, and we definitely talk a lot of crypto and a lot of charts, and we have some pretty heated arguments, and we basically figured out that, if we can express our debates about crypto and chart analysis in this open forum, to get feedback from our audience here, but also to kind of help ourselves become better traders and chart readers. That's kind of what we like to emphasize. Is every day I look to educate myself, either by looking at other people's charts, reading history, chart analysis books. A lot of stock market books have a lot of relevance in terms of crypto charting. And so when you want to be a student, if you will, of crypto, broadening your spectrum about where you can learn and how you can be smarter is very important, and just keep an open mind about that. So let's do some alts. What do you see about CA coin?
Well, I'm going to keep an open mind about CA coin, my friend.
Sure.
I think what's notable, and that you're making absolutely right. I think you're making great points about looking for knowledge in many places. So I think if you look back on the daily chart, Big Chonis, this is Big Cheds, end of December, you can see how it found support here. Now see that line that on a candle close basis, mind you, okay? Look exactly where it found support right here, and is potentially flattening out with this series of really small candle bodies. And notably, you have the really limited volume here, suggesting there is not kind of a rush for the exits. Really not much of a reason to buy yet either, but you do have this logical support area, which is so far being respected. What are your feelings?
Yeah, I mean, we're putting in a higher low. I mean, this is a major area of history, which you're noting here. Again, it feels like this pivot point we kind of have with Bitcoin, where any direction will set a trend potentially for the rest of the summer. You know, a bear break, and I can clearly see a coin breaking this line bearishly and basically retesting sub-parabolic move levels. This is from a USD standpoint, a very cheap coin. This is like a sub-penny coin,
right?
Or just a few pennies. So, you know, from a long-term perspective, as long as this one can still be on exchanges, this will be one of those coins that will have a very nice move and run, bull run, you know, in the future when crypto begins that next process. However, there's a lot of Sia coin out there. This is one of those large supply coins. So it's kind of like a heavy elephant that will take a lot of money to move anything dramatically. But the chart does say that if we can hold here, we could continue any kind of a bullish momentum.
All right, I think that's a great point. I'll just note if this level does fail, I'll be looking for the 123 level. Some significance here with this prior resistance breaking that area here. This is clearly an important support area back in March.
Yeah, the RSI shows it can definitely drop a lot lower too. So.
Yep. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. Do you want to grab one, or should I just keep going?
Yeah, well, let's do 1, 2, 3 there because they were the first one. So we did see a coin. Let's do ETC.
Okay, who's that from?
That's from Marcus. The space between the R and the C.
Ethereum Classic. Look at that. It's playing with this this important level here. Clearly, the thing that jumps up for me is a volume cluster. You are overheated in the RSI. But this looks pretty good. You've got some nice, buy sentiment. But this is clearly an area of heavy resistance. If it's able to break into it, would be step one. Step two would be to break through it. Be Chonis.
Chance, if you could flatter me by bringing up my pinned tweet on Twitter, I basically have a very similar chart. Hold on, refresh. There you go. Although I do love that salmon and asparagus there. And then maximize that bad boy. Yeah, so I saw exactly what you just saw there. I saw that hitting that kind of historic resistance point. I'm seeing the RSI. This was the 4-hour. You had the daily. The daily was even above that 70 level. So that even shows you, right there, boom, how high we are here. Now, it has to be acknowledged, this is based on the Coinbase edition news, where they said a little cryptically, but they basically said that this will be the next coin available on Coinbase, and therefore the masses of people, mostly in the United States, that use Coinbase, GDAX, and pretty soon Coinbase Pro, which is like a GDAX but more handsome cousin. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not very impressed.
Yeah, you're gonna do you should do a video on your channel for like what it is, and
yeah.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
Because it's my idea. I think it's a great idea. I'll just note.
I'll give you a normal 10%. Okay.
Yeah, 8%, 8 points, 8 points, or we got a problem, Joey. I'll just note. Clearly, you have the spike in the news. Then you have a consolidation period. You have this bullish pennant break. You have maybe a falling wedge here, some type of break as well, and another falling wedge break, or bull flag even if you want. I mean, so that's pretty nice. And boom, another bullish consolidation falling wedge break, but an area of important. So this, you got to kind of watch it. It's like, all right, good job in the first couple rounds of the playoffs. Now it's now we're talking about the finals.
Right. And listen, a healthy consolidation here will set the stage for more bullishness. I mean, you have to acknowledge this will be big news, and especially when the event actually happens, when it is added to the exchange, that in itself will be a frenzy of volume, let's just say, So
this
you can
level, position
yourself now for a potential play on that in the future.
That's a great call. And even if it's rejected here, I could see this level holding maybe your higher low 24, which was your prior level here. These peaks, it's now good support.
Yeah, and that would be in a sense, a way where you could basically take an entry without buying at a topping area.
Okay, what's next in the chat room?
Sure, let's do well, hold on. Okay, let's do Ven, VEN.
Okay.
We definitely have a lot of requests in the chat room. I do want to take a quick after Ven. Check out Coin Market Cap just to see some numbers there. But let's do VEN.
Okay, who's asking for it?
Ven is from Nick Godfrey. What's up, Nick?
Okay. Let's check it out. All right, so look at this. It's kind of tight all around, all day, huh? Let's get a little bit closer here. What is going on in the daily chart? I mean, this is just really trying to figure it out. You have a kind of an inverted head and shoulders here. Where's your head, shoulder, shoulder, that's kind of nice. And looks like it's finding support potentially at arguably whatever your neckline area is, right? Of your, your head and shoulders, so to speak, your three Buddha, inverted three Buddha. On balance volume's nice. I'd say overall it's pretty good actually. For me, clearly this is a potential double bottom here. It's attempting to form it after a nice run, a little profit taking. It found support, another round of profit taking, and the question is, what's going to happen the third time this is tested?
Yeah, I really like your volume by price bars there. The purple really shows we're right in that area there of a high concentration of money flow. So, holding this area here is very important. We're definitely seeing a bullish skip off there on the stuck RSI, where the blue is skipping off the red there bullishly. Okay. And I do like how the RSI is slightly erect, which is important as well. Okay. So as long as we hold this area of support, there's no reason why we can't go bullish. However, basically, as you drew there, if we were to break somewhere around your head area there.
Yeah, no good. No good if this breaks.
No good, yeah. For
now. No. All right, so you want to go CoinMarketCap, or do you want to
just a quick look to see kind of what the money looks like right
now? Here we go. Okay, let's go ahead and refresh. All right, what do you want to see here? We got a 286.
All right, so yeah, I mean, listen, 286 billion. It's pocket change for some, but right now it's the crypto, total market cap right there. We're still under that 300 billion. I don't know if it's a psychological number or just a good number to be above, but we definitely rather want to be above at that. Below the number of coins on exchanges. Still continues to basically hold constant right there, and I kind of like that 1604. I want that number at the very top of the screen there to kind of get a little lower and a little lower, because that will kind of begin the lessening of the spread out of so much money out there. Bitcoin's dominance of 40.2% kind of continues to rise up a little bit. They're basically showing continued altcoin capitulation, ever so slightly, but we are finding support in this area still. Let's choose Bitcoin here and just kind of see about what the 24-hour price action is there on their historical data there. And yeah, we've been under 4 billion pretty consistently here. The past couple of days, we poked our head above 4 billion a couple times on the 19th and 18th there. The market cap still is hovering around 115 billion. If we are able to get down to 100 billion, that could be a psychological support area.
I mean, yeah, is it more just a talking point? I mean,
it is. I mean,
that's like something to pass the time during coffee.
It is.
I mean, come on, let's get back on track here, all right? You know what I mean? I mean, 115. You're talking about that's a pretty big dip out of here. I mean, you're talking 6K test.
Yeah, well, that's the point. That's what we're talking about there. So again, it's catalysts that will make the markets feel like a support in the bottom and gets fallen. We've seen us find bottoms in this correction.
I've seen you find bottoms.
Weeks of bullishness. Yeah, we look at them all the time.
All right, let's come on.
So the point is that the lower this volume goes, this is suggesting that we're coming to a point where either the buyers are deciding they're not going to buy, period, or the sellers are deciding they're not going to sell, period, and an event is going to happen. I still am leaning bearish just because of where we are in the season right now, and there's still in the chart, lower areas to test, and these higher areas.
Are you talking about Ven?
What are we talking about? I thought we finished Ven.
Well, I don't know what we're still talking about Bitcoin.
Bitcoin. Oh yeah, I was just finishing up on the Bitcoin market cap and basically how just the money isn't there really to make a super strong bullish run. We're seeing a lot of traders just take profits kind of along the way if they are able to find a bullish candle.
All right. So what's the next one in the chat room?
Not too many requests here. Let's you want EOS?
We had a lot a minute ago. Let's see here. All right, let me start from the top. We got let's see. We got quite a few up top. So we've done ETC, we haven't done IOTA yet.
Sure.
So let's go to IOTA.
And who's asking for that one?
The IOTA. We have our fresh friend Josh Rivera. So IOTA
right.
clearly, look at this big drawdown. And you're looking for a little bit of hope here. You've got a couple inverted hammers, one here, one here. You know, you're trying to bottom here, but the on-balance volume isn't really giving you much to work with. Luckily, you are nearing some logical support, which would be these two prior peaks. Pardon me, these two prior peaks here should essentially translate to potentially being supported in this area right here.
Can you maximize the chart there, just so we can see a little bigger there?
Sorry there.
Thank you. There we go. There we go. That's much better.
So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, listen, we're holding a higher low. We kind of have that inverse head and shoulders there that broke through that resistance line and basically gave us our bull run, you know, into April, into May. We're once again testing an area there where you want to hold. And, you know, the past couple candles there have definitely been encouraging for the bulls, if you will. We do have a lot of money flow above us, which is also encouraging. Most make us feel like we're actually in this oversold condition here, you know, and maybe from an Elliott wave perspective, we could be kind of completing a down wave here, ready for our next kind of impulse push higher. The lower Bollinger, as it's sinking, though, it just almost feels like maybe we'll test and we'll bounce off this line here. But the market, I don't know, man, that double top, almost triple top there, that's pretty scary. Yeah, right there. That's pretty scary.
Yep. And I think sometimes you would argue it's really just a double top. Because this is one top, that's a second top. Because they kind of talk about how...
Right, yeah.
Because it's so close together, right? It's kind of like the same top. So, have you heard of Tube? We have David Collette asking for Tube. Have you heard of that one? That's not a stock, cryptocurrency. Tube, BTC. It's a new one.
What's the exchange?
Bittrex.
Oh, Bittrex?
It's your backyard.
What? Oh, BitTube. Yeah, I heard of this one.
Okay. Waiting for it to load.
I watch hours of BitTube every day.
Get out of here, really?
Yeah, on the BitTube.
All right, here we go, on the tele. So, I mean, it's clearly there's nothing really to like about the chart. It's A, it's early, right? And B, you have no established support anywhere. You just kind of have a series of capitulations. You have one here, you have another one here. It did a little bit here. At least it's trying to force a little bit of sideways, but I'm not seeing... I mean, you do have a little bit of bullish divergence, arguably. You do have the higher low on the on-balance volume. Let's go ahead and pull that up. You do have the bullish divergence where the oscillator has a higher low, and the price has a lower high, right? So you do have some bullish divergence. What do you think?
Yeah, Cheds. I mean, I just looked on the Bittrex exchange here. This coin was introduced June 4th. So... You know, as you noted, there's not a lot of price history. This is basically a price discovery area here where initial ICO people are really having their first chance to kind of dump their coins on an open market, depending upon, you know, however they were able to get their allotment. So this is what you see when a coin kind of first comes onto exchange. There will be a pump of this coin. It does happen, but these are risky because in theory, there's no floor. You know, you could kind of figure out some sense by maybe how much they raised in their ICO, kind of multiply that by the square root of what their supply of coin is, and maybe kind of compare that to other coins that might have a similar, you know, potential of a market cap. But for now, you know, these new coins, these are kind of risky plays until you can have more chart history, really, that you can establish a real trend. What do you say, Cheds?
I think that's a great call. It's really the best way to approach it.
Yeah.
EOS. I think you're right. I think you really have some wisdom there, Big Chonis. John Romsack is asking for EOS. Now, EOS has kind of had a bad rap recently. Now, look, this was in a really kind of a deadly downtrend, and I got in a lot of flack for saying it was bearish. It did pop. It kind of came back and made a new low, but it actually put in a nice lower wick, and I actually think it looks a lot better now. A little bit better. It looks a little bit better now, potentially. So actually the EOS may be bottoming, kind of a double bottom here. What do you think?
I think that lower wick is important, and that's from a trading standpoint, where you have people that probably put in a stop loss at a break even before those two green candles there, and that wick that broke that probably took a lot of people's stops out. And that's a bullish trait, because once those stops are out, you're able to create even a stronger support at that area, denoted by that nice long bullish wick. And we have a couple green, follow-on wicks there. We're seeing bullish divergence as well in the RSI, and a potential trend chain, as well as a decent money volume in this current area. And we had seen some bullish divergence with EOS in regard to Bitcoin a couple weeks ago, when the EOS mainnet launch was about to happen, and Bitcoin was in a downtrend. EOS was one of the few that was green, I recall, several days in a row. So we're still correcting, obviously, from that buy the rumor, sell the news situation here. Maybe we're finding some short-term support here. EOS had a huge run. It was all based on a mainnet launch. The correction can be big, but they have a lot of cash raised by their ICO, where they can kind of pump themselves and keep themselves moving. And if they can position themselves, for a while, they could be positioned as a really strong coin in the next bull run.
That's a good call. It's a great call. I was just also noting, there's kind of two phases to this downtrend. Clearly, you see this first phase, where it's like a tight movement, tight range. And then you see where you start to get these little peaks. You see what happens with the RSI. So that's where the RSI started to diverge. And you start to get this nice steady volume. So it's kind of interesting there. For sure. We have... Oh, we love you too, Anthony. Thank you. Anthony C says we love you. We did Van. How about Wan? W-A-N, or is it Wan?
I believe the A is the A. It's a soft A.
Oh, or the A silent. Oh, this one just broke support, so that's a little tough here. I mean, fighting to hold. You've broken lower on a candle close basis, so you lost this higher low, but you're kind of testing this W bottom. We're just talking about M tops. Oops, that's big. So you're testing this W bottom area support, which is kind of noteworthy. What do you think's going on here?
I mean, it's the 1 hour. It's kind of a pumpy. It's kind of a pumpy candle, so it's hard to denote. The fact that it did get lower than the previous bottom there, does show weakness. However, we have a rising RSI, we have a rising price now, so we are still holding that higher low from we put in back. What was that, on the 13th or so? Yeah, right there. So that's still good. You break that, and this whole chart falls apart. The continued 4-hour candles of, was that 6 red 4-hour candles in a row, has reset the stock RSI almost, and we are seeing a slight even out in the RSI overall, as well as the stability of the OBV. So we're seeing support here. The Bollingers are tightening.
What do you think?
The downtrend may continue. We've got to see some more money flow in this one.
What do you think? Right, it's almost a rising 3 valleys. If this could form your third bottom, maybe. Although these are kind of the same. I mean, I'm kind of just, I'm stretching here a little bit, but it's almost, like a triple bottom, rising 3 valleys.
Yeah, it's slight rising. It's almost as a very similar to the Litecoin, where it was, it would be a bear pennant if the pennant wasn't so long.
Oh, look at that! It's really mirroring like that, same as Litecoin. Maybe.
Yeah, it just reminded me of that.
It's a great call. That is a great call. GLD. Have you heard of that one?
I'm glad I have.
GLD. You have, or you? Oh,
glad. I don't know.
You're glid.
I'm glad I have.
Could be. Whoa! Look at that's kind of nice. Look at that. You have nice steady buy pressure here. We're looking at a 4-hour chart. Look at that. You've got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 candles in a row. Kind of the really nice bottom here. You have this tweezer bullish harami, tweezer bottom with a bullish harami.
Let's maximize that. Can we make that screen a little bigger there? Yeah. The chart. Nice. Yeah. There it is. Yeah, that's a great looking tweezer bottom there.
3 inside up. You got 3 inside up. Tweezer bottom, bearish harami. You have this is kind of nice. Then you have kind of this area here where you want to see what it does. It breaks it, and then you have this area here. It breaks it. Then you have this area here, and it breaks it. It kind of almost. It's weird how you see a gap. Usually you don't see that, but somehow there's a little gap here. and you are currently above this key area. I would go ahead and circle this. So you have this now you technically have what's called a rising window, which is the gap up, right? You have a rising window. In theory, a pullback should test support will classically be within the area of the rising window. Would be right here, would be kind of your nut entry. And would coincide with this logical horizontal support area. What do you think?
Minimize that for a moment. I want to see what the RSI is like. Did it put in a V bottom? Check the daily chart. Let me see what the daily RSI looks like.
Do you say Chuck Daily?
Chuck Daily. Yeah, that's kind of like a U bottom maybe.
Well, look at that nice can. Look at that hammer.
Yeah.
The hammer really told you the time. Really let you know the time of day. Even though it was light volume, so who knows?
Right.
But it was still. And second lower wick, you almost had a dragonfly, right? It's almost a dragonfly. Oh, just a doji. No, it's just almost a dragonfly. You can't really,
Well, it's a bottom hammer.
Yeah, and look at that. So you have these kind of nice lower wicks, lower shadows. You have the oversold RSI. So that would have been. Let's see if it corresponded to, it corresponded with this area of support. So you could have kind of anticipated right here too, right? So it is kind of a classical bottom, but is it going to get rejected middle Bollinger again?
Right.
So that's GLD Strat. STR, I don't have it on here, but I've done that one before, right? You know Strat.
Yeah, I used to play it as a kid.
Stratis? I thought you played Parisi Squares.
Stratomatic after Parisi.
Parisi Squares. So, look at this volume, Big Chonis. It's kind of, once it kind of found the bottom. But what's notable to me is we've broken this. You see how that nice, almost a morning star after that hammer, but boom, held, boom, ooh, braked. Oops. Whoopsies, right? Broke the support.
Yeah, this is that area here where if we're unable to hold, this will basically allow a lot of lower supports in play. If you can zoom out bigger to see kind of where we had come from, how far we got up. Oh, this is a newer coin there. Okay, so interesting. So Stratis, historically we're testing this like almost IPO nut low, right? Which had a double bottom test and held, and it really allowed us to push that nice bullish move there. So a retest and a hold is great. If we break this thing, then almost like a new price discovery mode is in play with this coin.
No, I argue we already broke support, and we're actually going to test like low 4, like really high 9, low 4. And I actually think that might be an area of some value given the position of the RSI here, here, and here. Even though you had some time here, if you held, boom, your stop would have been somewhere in this candle, in this wick, I guess. But as you can see, it's already broken this. So it's probably gonna go down here, and we're already oversold. So that's something to kind of keep an eye on, right? Senior Chonis, we love you. Okay. ZRX, we've heard of that one before. ZRX 12.6. So see this very elaborately drawn mountain, scape. That's from our last show. We were kind of talking about how in the kind of the more macro, this is what we think ZRX is doing, Big Jonas. So I would kind of agree with that. But clearly right now, what's notable is you have broken this support here. This is a level bulls, would want to see hold. Would have been the close of this candle here and the open. So we've kind of closed below that. And we had this support that's broken as well right here. So we're now going to be looking to see if we can hold right here. Roughly speaking, this area, there's a little bit of consolidation here as well. So we have another area now to watch. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with all that. The only thing I would just want to add is I just want to watch the RSI. I see where this when the RSI bottoms, hits 30, maybe a little bit lower, that has historically denoted a very nice bottoming area, or at least a good entry area. And once again, we're getting closer to that area there. So if we hit it, maybe we'll find a good support and bounce. If we break it, I feel any price breaking it sub lower would be potentially an accumulation phase for bam right there to keep this uptrend going. So right there, that's where it is, and that line would coincide to a sub 30 just about RSI level.
Yeah, like 10K in like 3 weeks would look like a perfect entry, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying
And
it's
this could
going
be,
there. I'm not saying it's going
yeah,
there.
and you know, ZRX is one of those coins. It's funny. It kind of got it's heartbroken a little bit when it
Yeah,
was kind of turned down at the dance,
right.
the Coinbase dance.
Yeah, didn't get the rose. Didn't get the
Did
rose.
not get the rose. But you know, the normally the contestant who doesn't get the rose gets to be the next season's, you know, star attraction. So
Okay.
if Ethereum Classic was kind of the first chosen, you know, ZRX, maybe you prove yourself and maybe you could be the one after that. So
Mm-hmm.
it's one of those coins that has a nice upward trajectory. And again, these are coins you want to keep in mind as a trader, as a crypto investor. You know, which coins, which charts have consistent money flow and are following real chart patterns, reflecting positively on EMAs and stuff like that. These are very important to get a sense of which coins are worth, you know, trading and which ones you want to stay away from.
I love it. And guys, we appreciate your support as always. We do have that super chat enabled for clothes for Big Chonis. That's what it's for these days.
I'll work for charts. We got to make one of those T-shirts.
Neo. Zach W is looking for Neo. Neo. So this one's looking for some help. But you're in a position where you are likely to bounce, given your it's oversold, you know, essentially, and you do have plenty of support here to rely on, at least in the short term. You know, the longer term trend is clearly in question. Although you do have a higher high, you kind of made a higher peak here at least, but then you put in your kind of a head and shoulders top, triple top type of formation, 3 mountain top, and now it's kind of a question of where you're going to find support, but it would be logical to at least hang out here for a while. What do you think?
Yeah, Chaz. I mean, this is clearly an area where, or if you wanted to ask me, you know, Jonas, show me a chart that looks oversold, and from a risk versus reward standpoint, you know, what would be getting interesting? This would be one of those. We do see the RSI on the daily, you know, at what, 2025.5. It's very low. We see the stock RSI again showing bearish signs, and we are seeing a declining OBV. So your line of support there, I would draw the exact same line, Chads, because that is kind of that area there where if you want to keep any kind of a bullish momentum, put in a higher low from our December lows, that line would be a healthy place to find a bounce support. And that would also denote, you know, the 20 to maybe even the 17, 18 range of that RSI. So this is one to keep an eye on, where if you do have a bear break in Bitcoin, it could allow Neo to test that support line, and keep an eye on how, you know, the market reacts to it.
Yeah, it's a great call. Zach W, there's Neo. Prod Senior's looking for Zill. Let's see, Zill is a similar type of chart, Big Chonis, but your RSI on the daily at least isn't in the kind of the jackpot zone yet. It's just a question of what support is really going to hold. I mean, you broke here, which was kind of unfortunate. But I mean, there's not much really. I wouldn't be looking to enter here. What do you?
Yeah, I mean, this is a price discovery coin. I do see a lot of people on Twitter, some who I follow regularly, who do talk about Zill in terms of their project, you know, who's behind it, who's a part of it, as one of those coins to kind of keep an eye on. You know, it's a new project, it's a new coin, it's a new token, it's new out there on the market. We can clearly see price discovery is still happening ever since kind of nasty shooting star we had back on, you know, May 10th. We've been in this downward kind of trajectory ever since, correcting. You know, from a fib standpoint, we're kind of around halfway down there. There's still a lot more to go. Right where we are here is, you see, we are priced right at a triple support test area there, where we bottom there, we're bottoming there again. And if you go back to a little farther back before that bounce there was a wick right there, boom, right there at April 16th wick. That seems to be right where we're at right there. So that's showing us that this area right here is a lot of history. However, you see all that price action, the purple lines you have there, much lower in kind of that 600 Satoshi area here. So yeah, so if we are not able to hold literally right in this area here, which would be a bottom Bollinger bounce, support area there, which would be nice on the daily. If we can't find that support there, lower areas will be tested. That RSI, a break of 30, could also be tested as well, and the OBV continues to decline. Exactly. What do you think there, Cheds?
Yeah, I think that's a great call. I think maybe 896. I could even see that be tested. Jep Hardick. What's Troon? Is that something? I've never heard of that one. Troon? Sorry, is that a joke? BAT. Basic attention. I am lacking in basic attention. So basic attention. This is a popular one.
Yeah, Skylar, thanks for that. Thanks for that request there. We actually have a few other people.
Skylar, yep.
Dirt Wolf and Skylar again. There you go. So yeah,
nice.
BAT. I mean, this is one to keep an eye on. You know, there's heavy investment from Wayne Enterprises. I've heard in this coin.
Okay.
So. This is no, seriously. I mean, this has had a very nice impulse bounce. You know, we had those nice wicks, bottom wicks there. You have the daily showing there. You know, the longer the wick is on the daily chart, really shows the strength of the candle. And then, you know, we see a couple of weeks ago we had some really nice bottoming wicks that has allowed this kind of nice trend here. Are we going to test this resistance line that we have basically topped off on? Hit again after that, hit again at the beginning of May, and almost feels like we want to test that third time, that upper resistance line. This is a chart here that broke support, and then that was kind of that area of oversold where the market stepped in and said, I want to buy. You see how the 30 on the RSI also held on the daily, and the OBV is continuing in this beautiful upward trend there. So this is continued accumulation. Could be like a longer term play here if you can be patient. You clearly see where you want to sell and where you want to buy, but this wedge gets tighter, denoting at some point a break of this wedge will set a new trend in momentum.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of volume right here in the middle, and look at this is significant right here. I mean, look at that breakout volume, but notably, we gave it back. Look at that. I mean, look how much was put into this candle, and it gave it back, right? So that's unfortunate. I mean, it's unfortunate, but it shows. Look, there's some good trading going on here, right? People are making some money if they're trading this. I mean, this is kind of nice here.
Yeah, but what do you see on the wick there on the 4 hour? That last wick.
Which one? This one?
Right there. The last two wicks there.
That's okay. I mean, it's trying to form a dark cloud cover. But this is only an hour into it, so we'll see. I mean, it's not a great start, but like, who knows what's going on?
Almost
look at that. That's a evening star.
Well, on the 4 hour, if you go back to the 4 hour, I noticed, you know, we talk about a V bottom. You can also have a V top. So on the 4 hour RSI, we kind of have almost a V top right there. Boom on the 4 hour RSI.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I mean that's because that's just a sharp push. And then kind of a return back to the median, right? Return back to normalcy. So that's the short view and the long view. Yeah, I mean, there's some nice buy pressure. Something's going on here.
Well, yeah, but you're seeing, you know, when you top off that high on the RSI on the 4 hour, you're going to get profit taking. I don't care what's going on there. We have a bull break of a falling wedge, another bull break of a bull flag.
Yeah.
And then again, the continuation there. That's a beautiful cycle there.
Look at this fake out. Look at that fake out here. Look at that! Look at that spinning top fake out.
Who held that last leg there, right?
Oh man!
You know?
Oh,
strong,
look at that.
strong.
You know what that signal?
Constitution.
But look at that signal when this candle here, when you closed above that wick, that would have been a signal because a bullish break.
For another candle on the way.
Right. A bullish break of a bearish reversal pattern is a strong signal.
Yeah.
Zill, we did Zill. XRP. Yeah, go ahead. What are you gonna say?
I'm gonna say check the chat on Skype, and then let's do XRP.
Okay, I don't see anything, so we're gonna have to fix that again.
Okay,
that's why. Okay,
I'm saying.
Why don't you text me, buddy? I still have your number. I still have your number. All right, let's go to XRP. Let's see. Okay, XRP for Zach W. Zach W. XRP. All right. Yeah, I mean, look, this is an area where you kind of want to see it hold. You want to see your higher lows. continue.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got your low here, and then you've got your other low, next low here, whatever that is, 77.
Mm-hmm.
And right here you were hoping maybe this would be your higher low, but that fell, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
the thing with XRP, and there was a little FUD news like a couple days ago. I can't entirely remember what it was, but it was something that is clearly continuing in this kind of downtrend, and we're still seeing that. And there's a lot of I don't know, kind of argument debate about, is even the XRP token necessary for the Ripple, which is a real company and actually does have a product of transaction, is even necessary. And that's kind of a debate that the holders of XRP and its valuation will continue to have.
are we going to solve that debate right now or no? No.
Let's do it. No, I'll be right back.
Okay, I have no clue. So clearly, if this level fails, you have a lot of significant support historically. After that big run to almost 11K, it pulled back all the way down to the 7,600 area. When it was able to rally, it came back and it kind of found a little bit of a higher low. It broke that higher low, but it's generally in the same area where you've been able to rally. Right now, this is just a downtrend, multiple rejections at the middle Bollinger MA20. You got to kind of break this lower low pattern. At some point, you got to challenge this. Bulls have to step up. It could happen conceivably. You do have a tiny bit of bullish divergence here on the RSI. Okay. Okay. So anyway, so yeah, okay. You anyway, the bullish divergence here on the RSI. Let's take a look at the next one. BCC.
Let's do it.
Okay. BCC. Okay, let's take a look at BCC. All right, so BCC, I mean, the bears are kind of, this is for Yanobu, YNOBU1. The bears are in control right now, and, the bulls are trying to mount a challenge. We are looking at the 4-hour chart, Big Chonis. At least this is in theory, I'm going to zoom in here. This is in theory almost like a Harami cross, which would be a buy signal or just a potential signal, of trend reversal. Bulls are stepping up. It would coincide with the stochastics being oversold, and it is an area here. This would be kind of a triple bottom. This would be a three rivers bottom, potentially, Big Chonis. What do you think?
Yeah, Cheds. I mean, we're finally seeing a little signs of bullishness after so many red candles back to back on the 4-hour there, bottoming the stock and a bottoming bullish cross, which is something you want to see as well.
And John Harrison is looking for DCR. For John Harrison. I have not heard of that one. DCR. Let's see here. John Harrison. DCR. So I mean, this was doing okay. We had a nice run here on the 4-hour chart where we were able to break this resistance. It was a breakout here, which was nice. We had this breakout almost candle close above. Period of consolidation, then we broke that high, but doesn't look like we're gonna challenge this high, anytime soon. Just as you kind of eye it real quick, you can see there is an uptrend that was broken. So you kind of have this uptrend, right, Big Chonis? You don't have to really do it exact, but you kind of get the gist of it. And the question is, where it's going to find support. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, once you broke that support area there, we're kind of almost in a new paradigm. Yeah, I mean, we want to hold right here because that would denote this uptrend is still bullish and can continue.
Mm-hmm.
If we break literally kind of right where we are now, and even with the 4-hour Bollingers being still pretty tight,
Mm-hmm.
if we don't make a bullish move soon, we're going to basically want to retest these lower areas here. I do like a slight uptick in the RSI and the OBV as well as the stock, and it has shown some bullishness.
Mm-hmm.
The volume isn't really showing up too much. I know this is basically showing on the BitTube exchange, but basically we're in this zone here where the bulls really need to step in.
Yeah, I mean, clearly uptrend's broken, but look at this. This was your support here. What is that? 131.7. Support here, exactly where it held for support here. So I wouldn't be surprised to see it kind of flatten out, maybe find a bottom here. Let's see, Enigma. Did we not do ENG? Did we do ENG, Big Chonis?
We did not. No, we did not do ENG.
No, look at that. So they had, what was that, the Intel partnership one? Is that what this is?
That was that bullish news, and that's what happens when you have a reaction to bullish news. And this is a kind of an interesting example here, where whenever there's really big news that hits, and you have a spike in like crazy volume, especially hourly. Look at that. The price, like the first hour, was where all the good money could have been made. You get out highest point of that candle there, and you're good. You don't have to worry anymore. We are still climbing bullishly. There's a bull flag basically being put in right now, which is very encouraging. That news clearly was very encouraging as well. So we are consolidating very nicely. It almost reminds me a little bit of like the ETC consolidation after it had its nice bull move. Yeah. So you're going to see, let's watch the RSI. It's on an uptick. Let's watch this support line you drew there hold, and then we can basically get back to a level that's higher than where that wick topped off there on the 1 hour.
I mean, it's great analysis. It can go either way too. I mean, bears have a good argument. You have the bearish divergence with the lower highs in the RSI and the stochastics RSI. But my signal is that the kind of the trend, the gist of the uptrend, Big Chonis, matches the OBV. This tells me there's nothing kind of out of whack with the price movement, right? It's moving as it should be. So it could be kind of a situation where this is actually just cooling off. It's divergent. But what that means is once the RSI is more cooled off, once the bulls take over, it can kind of challenge this high potentially. So I actually think I kind of like it. I think especially with the news, you have to interpret this a little more bullishly.
Yeah, and that brings up a thing that we're noticing is that news is really moving these coins now more than, I don't know, the overall market. You get specific news on a specific coin like Ethereum and the securities thing, or
okay, or
or something like that. So these news events is basically what is pushing things. So it will basically say if it likes it or not.
That's a great call. TKY, sorry, I don't see that symbol. Have we done ELF? ELF for Hans. You said ELF, please, and ELF we will do, because that's what we're here for. A couple guys talking crypto, not advisors, just friends. We're kind of trying to do a W bottom here, Big Chonis. Even after this support break, we lost this support and these two supports. So that's a little bit worrisome, but this could be a short-term bottom. What do you think?
We are finding support here. We broke the lower Bollinger on the hourly. That was too low. And that's basically showing where we can find some bullish support here. Still in a downtrend, though. I mean, look at the OBV continues to get lower and lower on the 4 hour, especially. Maybe a little bullish divergence, maybe on the RSI.
Right.
But again, I'm just not seeing a lot of strength in this coin yet.
Yeah, not convincing. There's a taste of it, but it's not too convincing. We've done BAT. Have we done Storm yet? There's just a couple left. We'll get these wrapped up, and we can kind of move along here. Storm is not. I mean, it's doing okay, right? I mean, it's a little bit of volume here. Maybe it's going to form a bottom, kind of a double bottom type of situation. Potentially, do have the bullish divergence with the RSI, and the OBV is flat. This is one that it's okay. Maybe you kind of start to scale in here. What do you think?
We are seeing support here. We are seeing a rising RSI while the price stays steady. Maybe equally a little more bullish divergence in the OBV as well. I guess you could argue that we are seeing enough stability here to put in, potentially a bid, because we see how much higher most of that money was actually kind of in that, 550, 500 Satoshi zone. So we're definitely a lot lower area here.
Excellent. We're going to do, Zach, we're going to give you guys lightning round just to wrap this up, because we do want to, we have a dinner. We're going to the Golden Corral for buffet dinner on me tonight.
Oh, you're splurging too much, Golden Corral. Come on.
We're testing lower Bollinger and ADA right now. It's not really bullish yet, but you do have an area of a historic support. So I wouldn't be surprised to see it kind of find a bottom here, given this, but I would want to kind of start to see a divergence. I'd want to start to see the OBV going back up. What do you think, Chonis? Okay, you agree with me on that one. We're going to do XLM for Ferrer. Soul Park. I don't know if I can pronounce your name, but I apologize. XLM real quick. We're on the daily chart. Last time we talked about XLM, Big Chonis, I noted this area of support and how it had kind of held it. We've now lost it. So now it's a question of where is it going to find a bottom. I guess I would probably slide my support down to this area here. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, listen, XLM was one of those coins where it had its really amazing parabolic move back in the beginning of the year. It did find support where you wanted to find it, and now it's broken that again. Your bottom support line there is probably the next one that's going to be in play. There's a lot of history in that area there. A lot of people, unfortunately, got into Stellar later in its price history there. Only the few basically were able to get really low entries here. This can be a player going forward if it is able to basically hold these areas here. This also has a lot of high supply as well, so it's kind of one of those heavy elephants again.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. I just got a message somebody needs help. I'm going to have to wrap it up. It's been a wonderful show. If you can find my friend on Twitter at Big Chonis. You can find me on Twitter at Big Cheds. If you guys are interested in Bitcoin Live, just to let you know, we do have a monthly option now, which is really cool. A lot of great stuff going on there. Honored to be working with those great teachers and being offered the ability to kind of do more in-depth teaching and kind of just exploring some of these topics. In the meantime, just want to thank you guys for stopping in and checking out the show. And until we meet each other again soon, I wish you all the best. You too, Chonis?
Thanks, Chad. Yeah, this was great. We should do this again sometime very soon.
All right. Take care, everybody.
Peace out, everybody. Thanks a lot.
Peace out.